Hey guys, and welcome back to another Culture Boys discussion. I'm Pepe, and I'm joined by Nathan. And today we are just chatting again. That's right. We're just gonna have
Yeah.
a random chat. We ain't gonna be we don't have no subject. We don't have no script. Not that we really do
Oh yeah,
half the
don't
time.
throw that out there. Jeez, don't throw that out there. Oh, it's just some people online get the idea that some things are like, oh, that's scripted. I can't believe you scripted it. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
we don't. Trust me, we don't.
Nah, we really. I mean, you can probably tell from half the episodes anyway, the way that we record things.
I mean, we said it before. Editing helps a lot.
Yeah.
We sound more coherent. What you hear is not what we actually recorded.
Nah, there's a lot more ums. Believe it or not, there's a lot more ums and ahs.
Ums and ahs and a lot of mouth sounds, breathing, just massive gaps in between speech. Like,
But yeah, we're doing just chatting. How are you, Nathan? How are you?
oh mate, it's started. I'm okay. I'm okay now. Like,
Yeah?
but it
Yeah.
didn't start off great. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah. What were you saying?
What am I saying? Okay, well, I guess it's the first topic, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah.
So Pepe obviously knows it involves him. I've had internet issues for the last God knows how. I won't say God knows how long, right? But like I want to say about a week. I was not notified by my ISP. They did not say a single thing, and I the whole time I just felt strained. You know when you're like so used to how your internet just sort of works,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, things are now buffering and pages are loading slower. Like everything's just slower for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I pay a lot of money for good internet,
Yeah.
right? And I pay for 250 down. It's not the best package my ISP like offers. I can't really afford it, but like I pay for it because I want good
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
And it was just like annoying that I couldn't do almost anything, it felt like.
So like, what kind of speeds were you getting then?
So like on average, at least to my computer, because I go through Wi-Fi. So
Mm-hmm.
the antenna that came with my motherboard, like it can only reach speeds of about 150, even though I pay for
Yeah.
250. But like you pay for the extra speed, so everything else still works, right?
Yeah.
Normally, I could be on my computer doing something, watching a video there, got my TV on, playing YouTube on there. Like I could have like the whole room lit up with the internet, and I'd still be fine. Nothing would buffer ever. But then all of a sudden last week, it's just like I'll be fine for like 2 hours, and then all of a sudden everything's buffering. Just the whole room just comes to a grinding halt.
That's mad. Like okay, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, Nate. My download speed is nowhere near that high. Mine is running on 44.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Oof.
I don't think I've ever had a problem with it though. Like in terms of like our records and stuff like that, like and like any streaming or anything like that. Like I've never actually had a problem like that. Like I think the only time I've really struggled was probably god, like I think it was the other night when I was trying to play Fall Guys.
Okay.
And on the Switch, that's bad enough as it is.
Oh,
Actually, no, I
you're
wasn't
playing
even
the.
playing on the Switch. I
I
wasn't
was
even playing
gonna
on the
say
Switch. I
you're
was
playing
playing
the Switch version. Ooh.
yeah, I like sometimes when I'm away from here, like I just bring my Switch with me, and like some people, are, oh, you want to play Fall Guys? I'm like, yeah, okay,
Okay,
I'll
like
play it
fair
on the
enough in that
fucking
situation. I thought you meant
yeah.
like you're in your place, you got everything, you
Nah,
got your
no.
PS5.
When I've got the
Like,
PS5 available, I'm not using the Switch version. There's got to be a specific reason why I would be using the Switch version here of all places.
fair
Um,
enough.
but no, when I'm at home, PS5 version, I realized that like because I noticed there's like some mad lag going on with my game. I was like, the fuck's the problem with this? I realized I think this is the only time I've ever had a problem is that I didn't realize I was downloading something um
Oh yeah, that'll do
while
it.
playing the game.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And yeah, and I don't even think the game I was downloading was worth it. I only bought it for like a couple quid off PSN. It's the One Punch Man game.
Is that okay? I mean, I've heard
I
it's
know I haven't
loads of
started
people,
it.
loads of
I
people don't
literally,
like it, but like,
I, that's the thing that I've heard about it. Right, I just saw it for cheap, and I was like, look, I just want to give this a shot and see what it's like, right?
I mean, fair
Because
enough.
Like I'm not paying full price for it. I'm literally paying like literally a fiver for this game. Some people might even argue that a fiver is too much for it. I'm not. I don't know. I haven't started it yet because yeah, that like. But anyway, that's on the list of things, my ever growing list of games I can play at some point.
I mean, like, in that situation, that makes sense because downloading something isn't always just downloading. You do also have a tiny bit of upload, but when you're playing
Of
online
course, yeah,
games, it's mostly uploading. So, like, I can understand in that situation why your game was suffering because if you're downloading something,
yeah.
it's taking the bandwidth away.
But it's mad that you are on like over 100 and you're struggling that much for it.
Again, like, it's such a first world problem. I do realize
Yeah.
this
Hmm.
because I'm just a power user for the internet. I use a lot of internet. Like, my entire life is basically run on the internet. Like, if it goes down, I don't know what to do because I'm like,
Yeah.
everything I do is online. But that's also why it frustrated me. They didn't tell me, they didn't notify me. Like, I had to go through issues,
Hmm.
run a bunch of tests, and do searches and stuff. And then they were like, oh, there's a whole problem in the area. But even before that, I said to Pepe, because a little behind the scenes, this really, really was fucking with me in the last record because I just kept disconnecting. I couldn't even stay on Discord. That's how bad it was. Like,
Yeah, it's
I
never been this bad for either of us before. Like
yeah,
this is
like
like really.
I couldn't even voice chat. That's the only thing it was doing was voice chatting, and I couldn't even do that. So like, it's just really annoying that I went on their like service status thing, and it told me there's no problem in your area. And then I go and get it to check my connection to my actual router, and it's like, "Oh yeah, there's a problem in your area." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about then? How do you tell me there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong and then tell me there's something wrong on a different
Mm.
test? That doesn't make
Mm.
any sense."
Oh,
Ah,
that.
frustrating, honestly.
But like clearly, like from this chat that we're having right now, it's fixed, right? So it's like
Well,
kind
for
of
the
sort of
time being, until something
yeah.
else goes wrong that they
So
don't
how
tell me
how often
about.
does this happen though with
It
you?
doesn't really happen at all.
Yeah,
You
so this is the
like,
first time it's kind of gone down like this.
yeah, I mean, the early days of when I switched to this ISP,
Hmm.
like I originally wanted to really run and just fucking like lay into it and just like fucking call them out,
Hmm.
but I realized that's not going to do anything.
No, you don't
So,
like at the end of the day, that's the one thing. Like this is the one thing about obviously like you pay for a service, you're expected to have it go well or whatever. But if you're like ringing someone, this is the one thing I've always thought as well. Like there's no real like in my opinion, there's no real good reason to have a rant at someone over the phone or like in like at the end of the day, they're doing a job. And like if I was there, like honestly, like because this is a Sunday when this
oh
happened,
yeah,
and like even if you did ring someone up, it more than likely if you got through to them, no, they wouldn't be having the best day having to work on a Sunday. Let's be honest.
yeah, and plus there's nothing they can do because it's a Sunday. So like anything that would happen on tomorrow, like
Yeah, so
on the
like
Monday.
throwing a
So
mad rage or whatever probably wouldn't do
luckily for me,
anything.
I didn't call because again, I found out it was an area wide problem. So there's really no point calling someone up because it's not just my house, it's everybody's house. So I didn't bother calling, which is fine also because I don't really like having to call them up because it's
Mm.
such a waste of time.
It is like you get on hold for like so freaking
Oh,
long.
mate.
It's just like, mate, like,
Like, you get put on
yeah.
hold,
Hmm.
you have to go through the automated system to get put on hold, to get to a person, to get put on hold, to get to maybe another person if the first person can't figure it out or whatever. And you're just like, dude, how much time have I wasted today just trying to get one problem
Yeah,
solved?
it won't make you any like less angry either. That's one thing.
Yeah,
Like it's any
exactly.
like being on hold for that long, trying to get through to someone that may not even be able to solve your issue. Like it's not gonna make you like it's not gonna make any of those problems go away at the end of the day. So like, what I have to ask though, like, what did you get up to instead? Did you get up to anything exciting instead of like
I took your
recording?
advice.
Yeah.
I turned my PS5 on and I played Tales of Arise because I was
Yeah,
like,
this is the one thing as well. Just like another little behind the scenes. Nathan was just like obviously like it is frustrating not being able to do something which you've been able to do for the past like couple years now, like with ease. So like I remember like just saying like, bro, like there's nothing. That's the one thing. Like there's nothing you can do in these situations. Like, and I just said, mate, just fucking play some Tales of Arise.
Yeah, like
That's my only solution I could give to you, bro.
Pepe is the more level-headed of us. Like I try to stay calm as best
Mm,
as I can, but like when I crack, the real me comes out, and the real me thinks too much. I work myself up and I get into my head, and then I'm just it's like a perpetual cycle of anger and rage.
yeah,
So that's why I try my best to like calm down. But like in those situations, that one especially where I'm like, they even send me regularly like your bill is ready, those emails and everything, and they couldn't tell me there's a problem,
mm.
right?
I mean, at the end of the day, like this is one thing. Like I remember when I first moved up to Liverpool. Like just a bit behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure people know that I have like two different locations. So there's London and Liverpool. I live in two
Probably
different
by
parts.
this point, like
Yeah, I'm really not too fussed about like people knowing about that. But like when I first moved up to Liverpool, I literally had to get a place. I started a new job and I was like, I need to get a place. So I hadn't actually checked. Like I did a flat viewing over FaceTime.
oh
Because it was like I got a month. I have a month to quit my job and go to this other job, and that also means uprooting my life and moving to Liverpool. And at the time, I was like, I need to find somewhere and quick. Because I have relatives like about 45 minutes away, but then like I have to pay a toll to get across that bridge, and I'm like, fuck that.
oh
So basically, I was like, I need to do this flat there. I saw this flat. It was decent enough. Like it was quite spacious over
yeah,
FaceTime. You see things. It's like, okay, that's all right. Sorted. Okay, I'll take that. And it's reasonably priced because it's up north and everything's fucking cheaper up north.
yeah,
Um, so I got that, and then next step is like, oh, I need to find internet. And luckily, the place I managed to rent from, they were also like, hey, we know this great internet service provider. We can hook you up with them for a discount. I was like, okay, sound. That sounds great. I'll do that.
oh
And it
no.
was like, okay, cool. And then they're like, we'll send you the box for your internet, and we'll just like you can just like plug it in or whatever, and it'll be fine. I was like, okay, sweet. So all comes to moving day, like flat's a bit grim, but it's nothing a bit of
Yeah,
like elbow grease can't sort. So it's like, okay, that's fine. Like the flat was decent, especially in the summer. But this internet box arrives, this fucking thing, and I'm like, this doesn't fit in anywhere. What the hell is up with this? So I ring the company. I already paid for this service, and I'm like, look, okay, I just moved up here, and this box ain't fucking plugging into anything. It's not working at all. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll send an engineer around. Like that was like that was the short of it. They told me to go through all these fucking steps, and I was like, "Yeah, it ain't working." Like they give you all this stuff, and like I'm just
yeah,
on the phone trying to sort this stuff out. And then okay, we'll send an engineer around. They send an engineer around. He looks at it. He's like, "Okay, sound. Yep." Like it goes through. It's like, okay, I need to go downstairs. I'm on the top floor of this building, and they said I need to go downstairs to check if this connects. I'm already having doubts. I'm like, right. So what? You go plug the modem or whatever it is the fucking internet shite
yeah. The
in
router stuff. It's the router
downstairs.
modem
Yeah.
combo box.
The yeah, exactly, the root of the modem shite. Um, and then I'm like, it's not looking good if the guy has to go down to the ground floor to
Yeah,
look to see if the modem is working, the router. And he comes back and he's like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna work for your flat." And I was like, "Great, okay." So I've just moved up here. I've taken the advice from these people saying that this company does a great service. And then so the thing is, right? I ring him up. I was like, "Look, I need to. Look, this ain't working out. I can't get internet here. Can I just get a refund?" And they're like, "No, you've signed a contract." The fucking thing. Like, this is the thing that annoys me most, and I had to accept this as well. Like, they're like, "You signed a contract. To get out of the contract,
you have to buy it out.
you have to buy out."
Yep,
And I'm like, for fuck's sake, I've just started this. Like, I literally just moved into this. I'm moved up half the fucking country to do this. And like, you can understand my problem, right? And they,
yep,
we understand. Like, I was just like, the fact is, I know for a fact that because I've signed this contract and you have to buy out, there's no arguing against it.
yep,
This is the one I had to accept my fate that I had to fucking buy
yep.
out of this contract, which I never got anything out of.
Ah,
So I never got a single bit of internet out of this place. And like not out of the place, I got a new internet provider in the end. I found one that actually worked for me. And like, but this is the most infuriating thing. It's the fact that I had to pay for a service which
Yep.
I never got a single use out of. I
And then
was
pay again.
fuming.
Yep.
It's
I can
like not
imagine.
even quietly fuming. It's just like like sheer disappointment that this happened. Like it's just like I wasn't even I was a little bit angry, but I was like more like for fuck's sake. I was angry at the fact that I just wasted a bunch of money on this before I even started my new job.
Makes sense. Yeah, I don't know how I'd react in that situation. Probably similar to the way I reacted to this situation. It hurts more when shit is just completely out of your control.
Literally, that's it.
Because
And
like you think of all the possibilities, and then you're like, oh yeah, but and then you're like, no, because there's literally nothing I can do. And then like, because the way I am, it just turns into rage, and then I'm like, oh god,
mm.
I want to punch something or I want to break something, but then I'm like, I have to
Yeah.
replace it. I have to pay for whatever I break. And I'm like, well, now I just standing there seething because I'm like, I can't do anything that I want to do right now. I want to play, I want to be online, but I can't do that. I want to break something, but I can't break something. It's just like, oh, what do I do?
What do I do? But like you said, there's nothing you can do about those situations. I think that's one thing I've kind of grown to accept with like some of these things. Like I think like I don't know, just going through certain motions in like this is gonna sound really fucking deep right now. Um like going through certain motions in life, I realized that like there's certain things which are completely out of your control. That is a situation where it's like you've done all you can in that situation, and you just have to like accept that shit ain't good. Like obviously, like every day is never gonna be a good day, and like it's one of those ones where like that shit is made your day bad, and it is like there's nothing you can do about having a bad day, and that is it like, like, it's a bad day, it's shite, and you have to do whatever you can to
Yeah.
move on. That doesn't even mean fixing the problem that you have at the front of you because you can't fix it because it's out of your control. If you can't fix it, it's out of your control, bruh. Like, honestly, it's just gotta be one of those things, like, at least try and find something that makes you happy within that moment. Like, that's
Yeah. I mean, everything you said is so true. And like, obviously, like, I know that
mm,
as well. Because I mean, we're old, so like you learn these
yeah.
things the hard way or you learn it quick,
Yeah.
right? Either way, you learn it.
Mm.
But like these sort of situations is where I'm just so I end up becoming disappointed in myself, like
Yeah, well
because like not it's just because me personally, I feel like I spent so many years right, like improving myself. I feel like I've
mhm,
become a much better version of myself. Like I'm a better person,
mhm.
right? But then something like that happens and I immediately regress like 20 years and then I'm just like, God damn it. You why? Just why?
Mm. I mean, I mean, if you can look at the positives in that sort of situation, obviously, like it's a shame about the regressing kind of thing. But like at the end of the day, you said you wanted to break things, you wanted to punch something, but at the end of the day, you
I mean,
didn't.
again,
Yeah.
like in those stupid situations, you see how much you've grown, but it's still just like if I'd grown enough, and that sounds stupid in itself to be like, oh, if I was just a little bit better, and it's like you don't just become better.
Nah,
You work at it over time, right?
literally,
But you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like to be like, if I was just that tiny bit better, I wouldn't even be like pissed off and wanting to break something.
Mm. I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, you are you at the end of the day. And like that the thing is with that immediate reaction, it is kind of like it's something that hasn't gone your way. And usually there's like it's finding coping mechanisms yeah, mechanisms with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I can't say like I think there's been times of like my life where things haven't gone my way and my instinct is to like sort of like just punch a pillow or whatever. But like it's been a hot minute since that kind of shit's happened. Like I feel like most of my life, like I think if I try like I try and focus on a lot of the positives these days, like than trying to like without trying to sound like an Instagram influencer or anything right now. Like because this is one thing I'm spouting out half this shit as if I'm like, yeah, positivity, like you it's all out of your control. I feel like I'm like like firing off some like mad like deep shit right now. I ain't that deep, bruv. But
You're
like
you
it's
know what? You're just like one black and white photo with a caption away from being an
bruv.
inspirational thing.
I the thing is, I hate that kind of content as well.
Yeah,
But
me too. I
like, cause
think it's ugh,
I
cringe, man.
it's cringe as hell. But I can't argue against the fact that sometimes, like, without them trying to throw it in your face or whatever, they do have a point.
No, it is
Like if
100% valid. Like,
I'm not the kind of person that goes around doing yoga or like meditation or anything. It probably would like those are like things that work for some people. It doesn't necessarily work for me. And you'll find that kind of stuff is like so fucking prominent in the fact that like coping mechanisms, like whether it be like the instinct to like attack, like fucking punch something or whatever, like that's the instinct, that's a coping mechanism, and it's finding, I guess, less stressful coping mechanisms, I
I
guess,
guess the
if
way to
that is
say it is
so.
like the healthier
Yes.
like coping mechanisms, like the less
Yeah.
destructive, the
Yeah.
less whatever. Like again, the word I guess is the most appropriate is the healthier ones.
Yeah.
Because like
Absolutely.
there's
Yeah.
obviously I can't believe this episode's getting this deep, but like
Mm. Over
but
internet problems of all things, you know what I mean?
I know, right? But you know what I mean? Like it's like I could have luckily I don't, but like I could have gone and just like started gorging on all the junk food in the house and whatever.
Oh,
Just
mate,
eat
yeah.
my problems away. Luckily I don't. Probably because I'm actually still too pissed off to even think about it. But it's yeah,
Yeah.
it's like doing the healthier thing. I think that's why I used to play a lot of violent games. It's because like
Oh,
when I would
yeah.
get mad, you would just go and then do all this
Have that
stuff
output, yeah.
digitally, and then it is like it sort of just like dissipates after a while. Like I think that's why I
Mm,
used to play a lot of GTA. It's because it's just like, right, go in there, cause a bunch of chaos, do
mm.
whatever you feel like, and then go off and do something else.
Did you feel like that's like an output for like that kind of
An
thing
outlet.
then?
Yeah, I used
Outlet
to do it
even,
a
yeah.
lot.
My bad.
Like
Yeah.
I would at least in sort of like the mid teenaging years, like I
Mhm.
would definitely have just been like, right, I'm turning on like GTA 4 and I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna cause as much havoc as I can. I'm gonna just do all of that. Everything the
That's
game is
interesting,
known for
yeah.
being bad for, I'm doing it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
I've
gonna
never
do.
actually thought of it that way, you know. This one thing because I feel like I'm one of those players that like I jump on the game just to cause, like you said, as much destruction as possible. But like just for the like sheer chaos of it.
See, I would do that too, but like I
Mm,
don't know why it always did actually sort of calm me down. I guess because it's like I'm still in my mind I was still taking my frustrations out.
mhm,
Like because in the game you like walk around with like all sorts of weaponry or whatever, right? And you just do whatever you feel like. And I guess because my in my mind I can easily separate obviously video game from reality
mhm.
because I'm not going to obviously do any of that in real life because
No, yeah,
I still
exactly.
want a future and I still want to live life. But like if you can do it for me, if you could do it virtually, it's like just as good because you're not hurting anyone. And I was already probably going to play video games to like do it anyway,
Yeah.
except I might have gone and played something else and just got more pissed off. But in this sense, it's like the urge for me to want to break something somehow
Mhm,
still translates digitally, even if I
mhm.
know I'm just playing a game where I'm like, I don't know, just throwing stuff at other stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it still just sort of works for some reason. Can't explain it.
Out of curiosity, like, do you think that obviously there's a game like GTA where you cause like mass destruction of that kind of thing, whereas compared to something like Minecraft, for example, like something that is significantly more peaceful but also somewhat chaotic at the same time. Would you find that a more like obviously it seems like a more healthier outlet, I
It
guess.
depends on how you do it. Like
Yeah.
Minecraft, I don't like griefing because like I didn't like it when people destroyed my stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
when you're building and someone comes along and just starts like
That's the worst fucking thing, isn't
like mining out your wall or something. You're like, why are you doing that? But Minecraft still helped me at times because like you just go on creative, you dump a bunch of lava around in a forest or something, or you
it?
just start setting off TNT absolutely
Yeah.
everywhere.
Okay,
As
yeah.
long as you still get to sort of destroy something, again, digitally is
Mhm,
fine because you're not hurting anybody, right? And I'm
mhm,
in a creative world just by myself. So like I'm literally just doing destructive things for no reason. Then you delete the world and you're fine.
mhm.
But that's the only way I find Minecraft would work. Because otherwise it is just sort of like, oh, now I'm just like tearing down a building that I spent ages building and I don't like that.
Mm.
Or tearing down somebody else's building. I'm like, that's you're being a
Yeah,
dick
yeah.
then. So it's like, yeah. Again, like but video games was one of has always been one of my coping mechanisms, like for
Yeah.
everything. Stress, whatever, and I just go off and play a game because I'm like, it's distracting. Just gets my mind off of it.
Mm. It's funny you mentioned earlier about like the binge eating kind of thing, like because I feel like my like if I have a really shit day, like my first thing is like all I want to do is literally crawl up into a ball and just spend time alone, that kind of thing. Like I just need to like just switch off. And my immediate thought for that as well is literally just to go on the sofa and eat a bunch of pizza and like watch some like random anime or something. That's my I feel like that's like my instinctive. I'm like I just want to like or sleep. Literally, like that's like is no my demons can't get to me while I'm sleeping.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
But
I mean, honestly, that is actually one of the things. Like, I remember, like, I've had times where I'm just like, I am in like the shittest mood right now. Not even like angry or whatever. Just like I'm not happy at the moment, and like it's just been like I've just got home and like, bro, it's like 7 o'clock and I don't even want to do anything, man. I just want to go, like, I just want to sleep, and it's
I mean, I
like that
guess
kind of
at
thing.
least the
Yeah.
sleep makes sense, not because of your previous statement of demons and sleep,
No.
but like I guess it kind of makes sense because once you go to sleep, like in to some respect, you have to kind of your mind has to shut off.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
active when you go to sleep, like in that sense, like you're not actively thinking. It's all like subconscious. So I guess it would work because then you probably calm down to get to sleep, and then once you wake up, it's like hours later probably,
I
or
think
an
it's
hour later.
partially
Like
like exhaustion as well. Like kind of like if I'm
fair,
shit's gone down, I'm not happy, and it's more like what happens is that if I'm in a really shit mood, like I will be like, if I get home in the mood like that, I am literally exhausted. That's the thing. Like, it's because it's me bearing with shit, and it's like, I'm, okay, cool. I'll take
yeah,
things on the
I
chin.
get
I'll do
that.
that kind of stuff.
More
And
the
it's like,
mental
it's just,
strain than the
it
physical
is
strain.
yeah, exactly that. Like, not even like physical. It's just like I'm just mentally exhausted. All I want to do right now is like just go into a dark room, close my eyes, and just shut off. Like, the day is done. Like, that is it. Like, I'm done with this day. And like I said earlier, there are days which are going to just be shit days. And
Yeah,
like you just that's one of those examples where I've just been like, bruh, like I just want to like sleep, go and duvet, like I don't know. Can I listen to music as well? Music's a really big help for me. Like I say music's a big help because those who know me and those like that are like kind of that just have spent time with me know that I'm one of those people that I hate silence.
yeah,
And the idea of just sitting in a room where nothing's going on is not torture, but it will make me very like anxious. I don't know why.
weird.
There's probably some deep rooted kind of like thing where I don't know. I kind of been surrounded by family members who always like been like relatively like happy as well. Like we've never had like an awful time as a family. I'm privileged enough to be from a family where like we always like majority of the time we've been like quite sound. And I've also come from a house where I also grew up on a lot of video games and TV. So I feel like the idea of having silence, even when I'm in the office, like literally, I'll come in and the radio's not on. I'll sit down at my desk for a total of 2 minutes, log in, start doing stuff, and then I'm like, it's silent. No one's talking right now. I just need to put the radio on. I can't deal with silence. It is just like something that even like I'm so kind of glad that I have Alexas in this flat because I'll get home and I'll be like, "Bruh, play that playlist, just play it." And then it's just going off like while I'm cooking or like while I'm just like chilling or whatever, like trying to go through my mobile apps or whatever, like there's just sound there, and it just makes it kind of puts me at ease. Like I feel the moment the silence, this is gonna sound deep. At the moment the silence creeps in, that's where I'm start like getting like, what the fuck? I don't like it. Not a fan at all.
Interesting. See, I never used to think I was like that, but after listening to what you were saying and like thinking about, it, I'm like, no, I've always got some sort of noise going as well.
Mm.
Like it might not be music, but like again, I've said it many a time. Pepe knows this. I watch a lot of YouTube. I almost always have YouTube going somewhere. And like, yeah, I mean, for me personally, I sort of know why. It's because like again, it goes back to like I'm the type of person I get into my head too much. So like for me, if I've got silence, it means that I'm not doing anything. So now my brain's like, oh yeah, so you remember that thing, or you know that other thing, and it just starts working, and then
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
happens, and I'm like, I need the noise to turn it off. I don't like, I don't like what the voice in my head is doing, and not in a I'm psychotic or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I've got psychoses kind of way. Like it's just it
Mm.
is literally like overthinking
Do you think it's
situations.
like an anxiety kind of thing? Because I've never considered it like this before. Like, like I've never like considered something like, when you say you hear people say I have anxiety,
Yeah.
and like I'm like, oh shit, that's like they found they've been like kind of diagnosed with that kind of thing, or like they have like medication, or they have like, I don't
Hmm.
know, like other ways of dealing with it. I've never considered myself like that, and I've never gone to the lengths of I'm going to self-diagnose myself with anxiety because
I've never done it
it's
for anxiety.
yeah.
The only thing I've ever sort of tried to self-diagnose is I think I might have some form of attention deficit
Oh yeah.
because you know me, like I fidget a lot, and I don't tend to. I can sit in one spot, but I'm also not actually just sat there doing nothing. I
Mm,
am always sort of doing something.
mm,
So I reckon I might have some sort of attention deficit. But like to your previous point, for you maybe it's an anxiety thing. I don't know. For me, it isn't anxiety. Like the silence is just because I tend to overanalyze
mm.
everything. Because I've always been one of those people that like would like to know everything or prepare for everything, but that means that I've stressed myself out. So like I do
Yeah.
things to drown it all out so that I don't do what I'm inclined to do. Because like if you live life like that, it is so taxing. It's just too much. Because like for example,
Mhm.
I might think about, oh, the other day when your manager was like, hey, can you do this? And then I'm like, yeah, but what would have happened if I turn around and just said fuck off? You know what I mean? Like, what? And
Yeah.
then he starts arguing with me, and then I'm like, I'll say this, and he'll say this, and then I'll like, and then it's like, okay, but then what happens if you get fired from there? What are you gonna do? And then like, it
Yeah.
just keeps going, and I'm like, brain, please, please just
Yeah.
stop,
Just yeah. So that's the
just
exhaustion. That's
leave
the
me
like
alone.
getting lost in that kind of like those scenarios, which obviously will probably never happen.
Yeah,
Like, in the fact that, oh,
honestly,
because it's in the past, like, it's like, like, it's funny, like, when you think of, like, arguments you've had in the past, and it's like, "What if I said this to them
oh,
instead?
bro,
What if I came up with this comeback?" And
yeah,
it'd be like,
right. My
"Oh,
brain.
shit."
That's why I don't like the silence because my brain does that
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, no, it's again, it's like it's not like a healthy, like, thing as well, because it means you're dwelling on that past, like, and realistically, it's the healthy thing is to, like, kinda move on from it, but, like, everyone does it, like, I feel like it should be, like, a thing that, like,
I
is
feel like it is an
it's not
incredibly
uncommon.
common it's
Yeah.
incredibly common, but I just feel like it's something people don't talk about.
Nah,
But
it's,
because otherwise, like, if you talk about it, you get exactly that response. Like, move on.
yeah.
So what does it achieve? Like, just move on with your life. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, but I can't. And then they're like, well, you have to.
There's no
Like,
helping it sometimes. So, like, I think sometimes it's like trying to keep yourself occupied with that kind of thing. And eventually, there's one thing as well. The more time goes on, you will actually move on from those kind of things. You'll be
yeah,
like they might get the occasional thought, like, remember I had that argument with someone 2 years ago? Or remember how I could have handled that situation differently 5 years ago when I was in that position?
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's dwelling on the past and things you could have done differently, but you can't do anything about it now. So
God,
um,
it's the more I think about it, I'm like, this is not how I saw this. I think that's why I like these just chatting ones.
Yeah.
They go to some like places, man.
It's something
Like,
that like this type of conversation. I probably I never like really have like deep chats with it like this kind of thing. Or it's very not rare, but it's like not very common that I do. And like when I do, it's healthy. This is the one thing.
it
It's
is
so good to
healthy.
talk about this kind of thing, and it's good for your mental health. It's
And
good to
it's
get
also
other
really
people's
funny that
perspective.
like we've been friends for so long, and I don't
Mm,
think we've had deep conversations. Like every
mm,
friend, like every good set of friends do, but like we don't often do this. So it's kind
nah.
of funny hearing these things from you seemingly for the first time ever. And I've known you for so long. Like
It's
it's just
something that
mad.
like I like my opinions on these sort of things have changed a lot as well.
I
I
mean, yeah,
think it's
obviously. Like the more you learn, the more you grow, innit?
exactly. I feel like the whole idea of like how mental health is tackled these days as well is completely different to what it was like say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like if you said like, "Oh mate, I have anxiety," people be like, "Anxiety? What the fuck is wrong with you? What have you got to be anxious about?"
Yeah,
And
innit?
it's like like honestly like the way stuff is handled, it's like just working in some of like I don't know, working in the industry that I do work as well. Like it kind of helps a little bit. Like there's open discussions. I feel like a lot of companies are tackling this, and mental health is something that loads of people are talking about, and it's so good that like it is being talked about more and more, and like different ways to handle it. And even this kind of thing, right? Like I always thought that like what got to me over lockdown was the fact that I realized that I didn't have any hobbies, right?
Yeah.
And like like one of the reasons why this podcast even started was because I was like, I want to do something, and I hit you up, and I was like, bro, do you want to do this? We discussed this ages ago,
Oh god.
and
Fucking
like
you
yeah, like I think we
absolutely
discussed in a
forever ago.
previous we discussed this in a previous episode, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like doing this has kind of given me like my life isn't just like video games and watching Netflix and watching anime. Like I actually have like another kind of like I enjoy doing this, and it's a great like thing to be like, oh, here's something else that I do, something that I can
Yeah.
work towards, like something like we can both work towards. And like it kind of feels healthy doing this of all things. Imagine this, like two like this fucking podcast with two fucking people in their fucking 30s at this point. Like just talking, and like it barely gets like half our videos barely peak over 100. But it's a sense of achievement though.
It is.
When a video does do well, or to our standards, it's not going to be fucking Mr. Beast level. It's not going to
Yeah.
even be like, I don't know, fucking whoever. Like, it's not even going to be massive in today's standards, but it's an achievement for us, and I feel like that's like something to work towards. That's great for my mental health because it feels like, yeah, I've achieved something. Like
Honestly,
little goals,
this
right?
to add to that, like this this podcast for me is also like a creative outlet because like
Exactly.
I before I was like again in lockdown you had too much time to think. There's a lot of silence, quote unquote, because you got nothing else to do. You can't go anywhere. You literally can't do anything. And there's only so many video games and everything you can play in the day that you just sort of like get bored after a while.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize I was feeling it for so long, but like I was feeling so like creatively unfulfilled for a long
Hmm.
time because I felt like I wanted to do stuff, but I never did anything. And then I was like, I don't know where to go with it.
Hmm.
And this has really, really helped. Like,
Yeah.
we make videos all the time. We come up with ideas all the time. I get to
Hmm.
Photoshop all the time. Like,
Mate, your Photoshop skills are like I still think that they're some of the best out there. Like I think like
I mean, I appreciate
it's a
that.
mad shit. Like I think like some of the stuff that I've asked you to create is just like ridiculous and like
I mean, I
yeah.
definitely phoned it in many times, but like, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But like, this is also like spurred me on to do other things and like
Hmm.
spread my wings like creatively.
Hmm.
And I won't talk about those. You don't need to know
Hmm.
about those, and you probably won't know about those. Pepe
Yeah.
knows. And he like and my
Yeah.
other friends and everyone else who knows me that does know, like I've started doing a lot and like
Hmm.
I sort of given myself a direction and it's all because we started doing Culture Boys
Hmm.
and I'm like again, like it's really good for our mental health. Like I
Yeah.
get to talk to a friend all the time. I get to do and stuff that I like. I get to talk about stuff that I like basically all the time.
Mhm.
And like Pepe said, like, we don't chase stats and numbers. We know realistically we're nothing and we're small. But like, you see that little thing, you get that gratification, like, oh, this one did really well. That one's done pretty good.
Mhm.
People like our stuff. Like
Yeah.
I still get really excited when we see a comment. They don't come in often, but when they do, it's like, oh man, someone commented.
Mm.
Unless we're both checking the email and then it's like, oh, one of us saw, and then one of us tells the other one, and the other one's like, oh, we had a comment. Dang.
Literally, yeah, we've been on both sides of that for sure. But yeah, no, I think like it's so nice to see some people like it's not very often, but like got a comment on a video like ages ago saying like, "Oh, I love your stuff." I was like, "Fucking hell, what?"
I know, right?
I'm surprised people even listen to our stuff.
That
Like,
one
imagine
really
loving
made
it.
my
Like,
day. Oh, that
yeah,
one was like, "Oh, I love your stuff, guys. You guys are
yeah.
good. Keep it up." And it was like, "Wow, thank you."
Yeah, it's like it's weird like seeing that kind of thing. I'm not it's just like a weird concept of that. But yeah, that's that. Like, I feel like it's
I'm
nice to uh
I think it's funny if you think about it, like, we've been consumers of YouTube content and stuff like that, like, of content
mm,
online for so long,
mm,
and we're, like, experiencing some of the minor highs of it from,
yeah.
like, the last couple of years, and it's so weird hearing, like, when YouTubers are like, "Oh, yeah, I love it when I see good comments, people being nice to each other and stuff, and being nice to me and all that." And, before you'd think like, "Okay, great. I don't get it, but sure." And now we get it as well, and it's like, "Oh, man, that is really good, isn't it? It's
It's like
really
it's even like
nice."
it's the tiny fraction of it as well.
I
Like
know,
the
innit?
tiniest fucking fraction of what like a normal YouTuber would get. And I'm just like, yeah, I'd still get a thrill from that kind of shit. That's so cool.
Oh, bro, every time we get anything on our channel, like, I just get so excited.
Yeah.
It's like being a kid again, like, it's a new thing. You're like, "Oh, cool. Someone likes me."
Oh man, mad like but yeah, I feel that's a good it's a good coping. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's the fact that like we're doing this as chatting, like coping, that kind of stuff. It's healthy. This is a healthy conversation. It's like it's nice, positive shit. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah.
I think it's also interesting.
Mm,
Again, like,
absolutely.
I the two of us are probably learning things about each other that we never knew
Yeah.
before. We've known each other a long time, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Right.
we definitely do more just chatting ones, like, because so
Absolutely.
far they've just gone in some, like, insane, at least in terms of what we normally talk about. Like, normally we're like, "Oh, let's do a just chatting." And I always think we're just gonna talk about, like, anime and manga and games again, but then we're just like, "Nah, screw that," and we go, like, completely off the script, and I'm like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I didn't expect this episode to go this way at all. Like,
I know, right?
especially since it started off with your internet problems out of all things. Like, I
But
was,
that's like the
like,
the last one we did, and it turned into just, "Why are you an introvert?" Or like, "What's it like being an introvert?" And I was like, "Dang, I didn't see that coming."
yeah. But yeah, it is it's quite funny because I think like I had like another like conversation topic, but I feel like I don't know. I'll say it for another time because it's not even that exciting compared to what we just talked about either. Like I think it's very like minor. Like I'll bring it up quickly. I got One Piece Odyssey recently, right?
Oh, dude,
Uh,
the demo was cool for that.
I play like honestly, I got this, and it's like right now, the time of recording, Fire Emblem comes out at the end of the week, and like I was like, am I making a bad decision here buying this fucking One Piece game a week before this other game, which I'm so much more hyped for.
Yes, it
Um,
is a bad idea, especially because it's you. It's a bad
however,
idea.
the time that I've spent on this game, I do not regret whatsoever. I feel like it's one of those ones like like how you say like it's on the PlayStation, it's on a console, it's not a handheld. I'm not gonna get that far if it's RPG stuff, which I'm like I have to grind or whatever. But this
Mhm.
game, bruv, I have sunk hours into this, like hours, and I'm just sat there. I'm not like even checking my phone or whatever. I'm just like playing this. It's like like earlier I said like, oh, there's like just like a thing that blocks out silence or whatever, and it just
Yeah.
like it's a game. And I think it's partially because this game isn't dubbed either. This is a fully subbed game. And like I was just like it was Saturday. I was just playing this. I was like, fucking hell, I spent like 5 hours today on this game. And I do not regret it whatsoever. This is like it's like some people probably say, yeah, this is a shit turn-based RPG or whatever. It's not the best game you can put out in 2023. But like, bro, I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying it.
See,
Um
but do you think
mm,
that's because it's One Piece? Like somewhere deep down you enjoy it a little
yes,
more because it's also One
100% is
Piece,
because it's
right?
what 100%. If this was any other game, it'd be hard for me to sell. And I think One Piece definitely gives it the reason to be like, oh, okay, I want to see what happens here. Because I'm right now in the second chapter, I believe, of this
Wow, you
game.
put in all. I mean, I guess it's an RPG, so it makes sense. But like, you put in all that time, you're only in the second chapter. Jeez.
Second, I'm only 60% through on the second chapter as well. So it gives like I like how PlayStation gives you this like progress bar as well of like how far you're into this chapter. I like that. I never got that until like I started playing PlayStation 5, which is probably like last year. Even though I've owned the console for two more than that. But like I I've been like enjoyed it, and it does mean that I probably won't be able to finish it before Fire Emblem comes out, and I'll just be on that all the time. But like, yeah, right now I'm in Alabasta in One Piece, and like
Oh,
I'm going through that
spoilers!
arc.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
mean, mate, it's not that deep. It's
I mean,
you,
I already
yeah,
knew it was going back there, but I guarantee
yeah,
you, someone somewhere has heard that for the first time, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you
yeah,
did that."
bro. It's the fucking bro. There's like been trailers out for this. If you haven't seen this, bro, I don't know what rock you've been living under for this fucking game. But but yeah, it's a really good game. I like for me for a One Piece fan and a turn-based RPG fan. I think it's actually really good. I'd recommend it. Like
Yeah,
that's
so would I. Again, I really did like the demo, and it's on my list. I will buy it eventually. It's just right now, Fire Emblem's a game for this month,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
what with future plans that I won't get into for my personal life, I definitely probably, well, not probably, I will definitely have to stick to one game a month because otherwise I'm gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, understand. I can understand that, bro.
Yeah, I'll leave it
Uh,
at that
yeah.
for my personal life. That's more than
Yeah.
I would like to divulge anyway. But yeah.
No, man. But yeah, I that was like probably the only thing I had really on my list to talk about. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about at all?
Nah, I think I'm in a good spot now.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Like I feel that was a healthy chat. Brought up One Piece. Love it. Well, I mean, this is a perfect record for me. I don't know what you're
Hey man, again, we I think we said it before, but the just chatting ones are where we like the closest to an actual podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like at least. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
brilliant because we went from me moaning about ISP to mental health to One Piece Odyssey.
I
What
mean, it's a
the
natural progression, right? That's it's what happens in conversation.
Yeah, so it's good. I'm all good, mate. I don't think I
Yeah.
got anything else to add.
In that case, I think we better wrap it up here then. Thank you
Yeah.
for listening to us, guys. We were rambling on there like for a bit, but I hope you enjoyed this. We enjoyed it. If you do, leave a comment, give us a like, subscribe, hit that bell button. You know the YouTube jazz. You can also find us on all podcast platforms. Those links are in the description, and we are also on Twitter. So give us a follow on that. Hit us up. You know what I mean. Anyway, thank you for listening again, and we will see you next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye bye.
Bye.